trauma bonds. Got close off of battle scars. Equal pain, so we think it's equal game. Same team, but it's different hearts. Same goals, but it's different shots. Thought we was winning the same. Turns out you were just running me game. Should've known, but I couldn't guess it. It's a damn shame.
What's going on today, guys? This is Nassim with Hassan coming with you to another episode of Hoop MCs. We're on Spotify and Apple as well, so make sure to check us out there.
You never even mentioned YouTube.
Well, I mean,
Did you?
That was no, but I figured that's just the main platform, you know. Like,
Okay. Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I screwed that up. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. Please excuse my partner's interruption. He's clearly delusional today, and I'm pretty sure we all know why. You want to elaborate on it, Hassan?
2 words. James Harden.
It's the greatest 2 words in sports.
Yeah, that guy had quite a ride these past 48 hours, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, James Harden is definitely circulating the news right now. His name is kind of the hottest name in sports, and not for a good reason. If you guys don't know, well, today kind of made another major shift in that story, but he finally reported to training camp. But since Sunday afternoon, there was a report that showed that he was actually in a club in Vegas celebrating a rapper's birthday.
Yeah,
he was he was supposed to report to group workouts, but instead he got hungover. So I'm happy for him, I guess. Don't know what else to say.
I don't know if I could ever get the excuse in my job to not show up to work because I was out partying with Lil Baby.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, you face 0 repercussions and just, like, you don't even tell them. You're just, like, your boss just goes, hey, where's Nassim? And then there's just a video of you throwing ones in the club. No mask, 100 people around you.
She's like, oh, it's okay.
They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess typical Nassim behavior.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Looking back at Sunday, like, just that report coming out, I was like, my first reaction was like, man, forget this guy. I want to move on from him. But since he reported and, like, I'm, not rationale, but, like, I'm slowly becoming more level-headed, it's kind of a pretty hilarious story if you think about it.
It's just, okay, so on Sunday, or the first day that he didn't report, I was like, all right, whatever, he went to party, and then he did it again the next day, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
So he did it on a Sunday night as well, and then he tweeted the emoji.
Yeah.
Like, oops, I guess I did it again.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. And what makes this even, like, more funny is that we're in the middle. I mean, it's not funny, but we're in the middle of a pandemic, you know? Like, people are losing their lives. And you see a picture of him in, like, some green flannels smiling in a group. And then out of nowhere, Zach Randolph is to the left of him. And he has the typical mask dangling from his ear, not actually wearing it.
That guy's literally in a simulation right now, dude.
Yeah, I haven't heard Zach Randolph's name, or I haven't heard anything relevant of Zach Randolph in like 5 years. So that was really random seeing him in that pic.
He literally, James Harden looked baked. I'm pretty sure that guy, he's lucky they're not doing weed testing this year because I'm 99% sure he was high.
And the NBA players are gonna have a field day with that, man. Literally,
it's about to average 50. Dude.
I guarantee you, somebody's gonna bring it in the locker room one day and just, hey, you want to get this puff before we play the Knicks?
It's definitely gonna be the Rockets too. I already know it. You got John Wall, Boogie, and Harden.
J.R. Smith is on the Lakers, so I feel like he might actually test that out. And the Rockets is also a pretty second team to bet on as well. You got Wall and John Wall. I don't know about Cousins, but John Wall in itself, he seems kind of like a talented J.R. Smith, if you will. So
he's J.R. Smith who knows how to handle the ball.
Yeah. exactly. But yeah, that was that's pretty much kind of been the story these past 48 hours with James Harden. He finally reported today, tested, and then he will have to test twice, 2 more times, in order to get 3 consecutive negative tests, and then he can practice with the team.
What did you think of his mom's comments, by the way? Did you read it?
She completely ignored the comment. I mean, she completely ignored the statement made by that user. Yeah. She just basically said, oh, "My son wants to play. It's not his fault. He just wants a fair chance." And and they were just kind of saying he had to correct himself. He was very empathetic. He was like, no, it's nothing against James Harden. He's a great player. All this, he's been a role model. It's just how he conducted himself in those 24 hours, which is true.
I was literally trolling the city of Houston.
Yeah, who does that in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah.
Just doesn't show up in Vegas. Gets caught throwing ones when he's supposed to be reporting for work. And then, obviously, a mom's going to be a mom. She's, of course, going to say nothing but positive things about her son. But that was funny. Everybody in Houston has kind of been, on edge these past 48 hours.
Yeah, I also feel bad whenever, family members get brought in. Dude, what? Leave my brother or my mom alone. Just let me handle my business.
What are you talking? Oh, just, in terms of, with his mom commenting?
Yeah, because it also happens with Curry. Aisha's restaurant got shut down in Houston because of Steph Curry. Why, dude?
Wait, she opened it in Houston, right? Was that right? Oh yeah, dude.
It got bombarded by negative reviews, and it got shut down.
Honestly, that's a bad business move. Why would you open it in Houston? We don't like your husband.
But Houston's a good restaurant city. So
it's a great restaurant city, but we don't like your husband. Why are you opening it up? It's going to affect your business.
Dude. It's food.
Yeah. And then Harden, he's opening up a restaurant here, but I don't get it, man. He obviously wants to be out. So, but what you said, it's a restaurant city, so maybe it's just purely business at this point. But I thought, before this whole stuff went down, I thought these rumors are kind of blown out of proportion. He's staying in Houston because of the restaurant and other stuff. But poor Aisha. That's all I gotta say.
But I feel bad for her.
She has not had it easy.
I don't know what, literally, she's always getting targeted every week on Twitter for something random.
Yeah.
She dyed her hair, and she got destroyed on Twitter for it.
What'd she dye it? What color?
I think she went, kind of blonde.
Blonde?
And she took a selfie with Steph Curry, and all I saw was just a bunch of Curry accounts underneath the tweet, and I was like, Jesus, dude. I think they're the worst, by the way. They're definitely worse than James Harden stands or Westbrook stands. Steph Curry ones take the cake.
I've never seen James Harden stands. I've seen dudes defend him, Rockets Twitter, but the only Twitter account that I've seen stands for are LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. And Westbrook stands are by far much worse because hyping that guy up as a player, not as a man or as a role model, because I think he's probably one of the best in the league in terms of being a role model and just being a great person in general. But as a player, it's a complete 180. That guy literally plays. Just I hate to bring this guy up because he doesn't deserve this, but J.R. Smith.
Why do you keep bringing him up, dude?
I don't know. J.R. Smith is everything wrong with basketball, but. Russell Westbrook has probably the most delusional fan base in the league.
I think it's Curry, but I don't know. Just because if you're arguing with the Curry stands, you're literally arguing with 12-year-olds, and it's so annoying.
But Curry is actually that hype is there for a reason. It's it's deservingly so. Russell Westbrook, no.
Okay, so you're not only are you a Westbrook hater, you're also a Bron hater.
I'm not a Westbrook hater. I'm not a Westbrook hater. It's just I think he just underperformed.
Yeah, he underperformed for the Rockets in the playoffs, but I
Yeah.
mean, let's not act like before the whole COVID situation he wasn't balling out of his mind and failing James Harden. Oh.
No, he was for sure. I just think that fit didn't work out between them two. And in a vacuum setting, like with just him as the man, he'll post crazy numbers because that's just kind of his game. He doesn't make anybody around him better. But that's not what.
He
no,
made Paul George a freaking MVP candidate.
I don't know if he made Paul George a MVP candidate. I think Paul George is a pretty good player by himself. I mean, obviously that wasn't the case in the playoffs, but I don't think Westbrook is elevating anybody.
Yeah, well, you're entitled to your own wrong opinion, but I still think he's a great player.
Hold
He's a
on.
great team player.
Let's talk about how before what Harden finally reporting to the Toyota Center, how you got on me with this MPJ trade scenario. I said Michael Porter Jr. I proposed him in a mock trade scenario in which the Nuggets receive Harden, and this is just kind of like the core pieces basically. But Nuggets are receiving Harden. Houston is receiving Michael Porter Jr. What's wrong with that?
Okay, you have to include the rest of the people because if you're making it worse by saying
Okay,
Harden for
okay,
MPJ
I will.
straight up.
Okay, so I suggested Harden and Danuel House to the Nuggets, and in exchange, the Rockets get Michael Porter Jr., Gary Harris, Will Barton, and Will Barton is there for cap filler reasons, and then a couple of draft picks and whatever the draft swaps if those are attached. But that is the trade scenario that I proposed. What's wrong with that?
Not only is Houston getting fleeced, by the way, because
How?
Harden is well more deserving than Michael Porter Jr. and Gary Harris and 2 first-round picks. Okay, let's just put that out there.
I feel like you and several others don't understand the framework behind trading a 31-year-old superstar like James Harden. Like, that is what you're going to get. You get somebody that has potential who's young.
Jimmy Butler, what did we offer him?
We offered like Gordon
and
four first-round picks. Yeah.
I'll take that. Then Michael Porter Jr., Gary Harris, and 2 first-round picks.
You're going to take 4 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And Eric Gordon versus Butler? Why? Time out. So you're saying Michael Porter Jr., who just finished his rookie year, played 1 year in the league. He was the 14th overall pick. And I attached 2 first-round picks in my scenario. And then you're getting also Gary Harris and what's his face?
Don't try to bring in Gary Harris and Will Barton because I mentioned them earlier and you said they were basically nothing.
No, Gary Harris is like you said that he was a young player. He's not exactly young. He's 26.
That's young.
But no, I'm saying like he's not young. Look at how long he's been in the league. He's not young. Like, if you're still in your first contract, okay, you're young. Ben Simmons, he's considered a young talent because he just finished his 4th year and everything, and he's only 24. But Gary Harris is like 26, and he finished like 6 seasons already. He's not young. He's like a seasoned vet at this point.
He still has a lot of time, so that makes him young.
Oh, my God. Okay, so is Karis LeVert young?
I don't even know how old that guy is.
He's 26.
Yeah. Why not?
He's not young because the rationale behind why Houston didn't want Karis LeVert is because of the fact that he's 26 and he's not considered like somebody who you can build around. At 26 years old, you're not somebody who, even though he only played 4 years in the league, but that's because I think he went all 4 years in the draft. So he's he's older, like in age.
Okay, so you're saying if they're in the rookie contract, right? And then you could consider them young?
Because I think the universal definition that should be accepted is that, yes. Ben Simmons is like a fringe young player, but he's still young because he just started his second contract, his second max level contract, the first year of his second, not of his second contract, but his second contract, which was a max level contract.
You know who was also on a rookie deal, 4 or 5 years ago? Pablo Pepperoni. Okay, so I don't want to hear that.
Who?
Pablo Prigioni.
No, 4 or 5 years ago, he was what?
He was a rookie like when he was like 33 or something.
Are you talking about like whenever he joined the Rockets?
When he joined the league, he was a rookie at like the age of
Yeah.
30 something.
Okay, but how? Okay, but yeah. Obviously,
So,
you got to
yeah,
factor
he's
in
not a young player.
You got to factor in the age as well.
I am. 26 is young.
Pablo Prigioni was 26 when he joined the league.
No. I'm saying Gary Harris is young because he's 26.
All right,
and
look,
Pablo
it's a combination.
Pepperoni,
It's a combination of age and the contract. Like age, really. Age is what matters. Most importantly, it's age. Like if you take MPJ, he's 22 or 23.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? Like why wouldn't you take that?
First off, don't call me crazy. I'll beat the shit out of you.
You're literally insane.
Okay, like, I just feel like first off, the Rockets could get a little more out of that. And second, that Nuggets fit is not going to work with James Harden.
Why wouldn't it? Why? I'm so
It's just
confused.
such an awkward team.
How?
Like Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Harden.
Yes.
Like, and then they don't. Who else do they have after that?
How is that awkward though?
I don't know. It's like because Jokic isn't a style of player to play against with James Harden. Okay, Harden needs a big lob threat, as we saw this year before Westbrook shipped out Capella. And then
DeMarcus Cousins isn't a big lob threat. Neither is Christian Wood necessarily.
Christian Wood can
They're
be.
both pick and roll guys. Jokic can come. You get a screen, and what's it called? You can pop it out for like a mid range to him, or I mean, like Jokic is literally elite. He is. They can make it work. Same thing with Murray. Murray's a top 25 player in the league. When you pair three superstars like that, that is worth the risk. Whereas Michael Porter Jr., he just finished his rookie year, and you know, while you could wait it out and build off that, why not? Why wait 4 years before he becomes something? Why not take that risk right now? You have 2 years. You guarantee yourself 2 years with Harden.
Yeah, if those 2 years don't work out, you lost it. Because then, otherwise, if you keep MPJ, you still have Murray, Jokic, and MPJ who could go for a lot longer.
But I feel like Harden would be inclined to re-sign with Denver, honestly. Like,
because of their weed laws, why else would he want to re-sign there?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was literally like thinking about a reason why. I'm like, wait, they are marijuana friendly. So yeah, he would do that. And then also on top of that, he's been talking about signing with a team that can help him win a ring. That Denver team can help him win a ring more than anything, honestly. They have no major injury history for Jokic and Jamal Murray. And same with Harden. So even after those 2 years are done, he can re-sign easily for 2 years.
Right? Let's say your crazy trade goes through. He joins them. Who are the role?
It's not crazy. It's not crazy.
They don't have Grant. He's gone. They don't have MPJ. They don't have Gary.
Who are
Harris
who are the role players? They can re-sign Danwell House. Danwell House is actually a pretty solid player. You can re-sign him.
You have 4.
Huh?
Like, I literally don't know anybody else on the Nuggets other than Mason Plumlee.
Let me see. I'm honestly. They re-signed Paul Millsap. I know Paul Millsap isn't anything, but you got Bull.
I guess
He's pretty good in terms of young asset. I don't know, man. I gotta look. I gotta take a look back. Oh, they signed that dude off of the Clippers. What's his name? JaMychal Green. They got a pretty good substitute for Jeremiah Grant. The depth is there, dude. All they're doing is losing
heavily.
They're losing one additional piece in Will Barton because they're losing 3 players. They're getting back 2.
It's regressing heavily the depth that they're gonna have, and part of James Harden's lack of success in Houston is his role players as well. So he's just putting himself. I know he's gonna be with 2 superstars in Denver, but he's also putting himself in another.
He wants to go to the Nets. What does he think is gonna happen when he loses all his role players?
Kyrie and KD are so much better than Jokic and Jamal Murray. So obviously,
How? Jokic is a top 10 player right now, isn't he?
KD is a top 2 player when he's healthy.
When he's healthy. True. When he's healthy. I completely 100% agree with you. But he's also taking a risk to go join that when he doesn't know what his health is going to be.
I would much rather take my risk with that top 2 player than going with
and
Jamal
have
Murray
no
and Jokic.
Depth.
You're not gonna have depth in Denver either. I'd rather have.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you are. Your solid 5 is literally probably the best in the league.
And the Nets can probably get rid of just who Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie are going to have to come back to Houston, and same with Jared Allen. They're literally going to be, like, they'll only have, what's his name? Joe Harris.
Yeah, that guy's going to carry the bench, dude.
And I think Joe Harris would need to start because they're going to be losing all that depth.
Either way, I don't think any team is in any position to make a trade for Harden. They don't have enough role players to fill the void of Harden.
The Sixers
I
do.
guess.
Because the Sixers, I mean, what, he's making like 27, 29 million right now, Ben Simmons. You can throw in somebody as a cap filler, and they can make it work, but apparently Sixers management they're keen on keeping both him and Embiid.
Which I think is dumb. If I'm the Sixers.
Is it though? I thought about it a little bit more today, objectively. Is it dumb though?
I'm sure I would trade Simmons for Harden, yeah.
As a Sixer, like
As
if you're
a Sixer, yeah. Because I mean, how many years have Embiid and Simmons been together now? What is it, 4?
I think 3 or 4 years. 4 years.
I don't know how much better they can get. I mean, they had Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris.
3 years, because I think Embiid was actually hurt for 2 seasons in a row, so 3 years. And I actually looked at this yesterday. The farthest they've gone was to a Game 7 with Toronto, right? Mm-hmm. They had Jimmy Butler. And they had Jimmy Butler. That was a really good team right there. And they had Jimmy Butler, who was playing at a great level for them. And look, they took the eventual champions to a Game 7. But then again, they had Embiid. They had Simmons as well. So
I'm saying, I think that was their peak roster, right? With Simmons and Embiid, unless there's some huge changes happens. I feel like they're not getting any better than what they were.
Yeah, and I agree with you, actually. I don't think they're gonna get past Milwaukee or like Miami. And some guy argued that like Boston took a major step back this year, and I kind of disagree. Just because they lost Gordon Hayward doesn't necessarily mean anything to them. I mean, they added Tristan Thompson, so they got stronger in the front court. So I still think those 3 teams are better. Heck, maybe even Toronto, just because they're championship tested. They made some noise last year in terms of in the playoffs. They took Boston to 7 games, while Sixers got swept. You know.
Yeah, I know they didn't have Ben Simmons, but I mean
they didn't.
No, they didn't have Ben Simmons.
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
For real, he didn't play a single game?
I thought he was hurt before the playoffs even started.
Oh, you might be right. Okay. So, I mean, that makes sense. But they still weren't going to beat them. I still don't think Ben Simmons was going to take them over Boston. That's true.
Yeah, no. He's not winning them 4 games.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Obviously, I don't know what I want, truly. Like, as a fan, I don't know if I want to ride this one more year. Because I've been kind of telling myself, you could probably get the most in terms of value for a Harden package right now if you trade him. Because, obviously, that team who's receiving him has 2 years to be competitive. Whereas if you wait 1 more year and trade him to somebody next year, they'd be having a much greater risk for trading some young player, And that young player might not be as good as what you'd get this year just because of the time. So,
one last thing and we'll wrap it up. I think if the Rockets are going to make a move, they're going to wait till they're on the trade deadline. They want to give probably Harden half a season, see how it's looking. If it's not looking good, then they're probably just going to try and ship him to a contender. That's what I feel, because that's what happened with Jimmy Butler with Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they shipped him around the
Philly?
trade deadline to Philly, yeah.
And they had to give up Rocco, Dario Saric, and a couple first-round picks, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying there could be another move like that.
If Jimmy Butler is kind of the baseline, in terms of, not baseline, but if that's something that you would expect in terms of how to, what to expect for a Harden trade, which isn't the case, obviously. Jimmy Butler back then is nowhere near to what Harden is right now. But Rocco wasn't really young. Dario Saric was young, but I don't know what he looked like back then, really, to like I can't necessarily remember his value back then, like if he had tremendous upside or not. I don't think he did. I think he was like a 10-point, 12-point scorer at best. And then they got, I think, a couple first-round picks. Mm-hmm. You know, I agree with you. Like, we should definitely be asking way more. Like, don't settle on a trade. Like, even though I feel like it would be beneficial to the Rockets for their future to make that trade now, I definitely wouldn't settle. That, I mean, my plan is hopefully they can try and convince him to re-sign. I don't know how likely that's going to happen.
They have to win a ring for that.
I mean, I think I would probably what's it called? I think I would probably, opt in for Houston just running it this season, and just hopefully, there aren't any like major storylines that happen where he's just like not caring or he's just not focused. I don't think that's gonna happen just because of the relationship he has with John Wall. Yeah. Convincing him to come and all like that, them being buddies on the court or whatever. But so we went over.
It's like 24 minutes.
Yeah, but
if you're still around, thanks for listening.
Yeah, but I appreciate you. Go ahead and wrap this up, Nassim.
All right. Like I said 2 seconds ago, thanks for listening and supporting as always, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Later.
Trauma bonds, got close off of battle scars. Equal pain, so we think it's equal games. Same team, but it's different hearts. Same goals, but it's different shots. Thought we was winning the same. Turns out you was just running me game. Should've known, but I couldn't guess it. It's a damn shame.